I got rid of the 1.
Perfect. We are here. We are live on a brand new episode of It's in the Game podcast here on the Ball is Life podcast network, which you can find on ballislife.com for the audio, for the video, youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. You can follow myself, Rainy J. Cruz, on Twitter. I am Denny Blanco, Dave Zenon, and also Ball is Life. Denny Blanco, my man, how you doing?
Like we always do at this time, we go for mine. We got a special guest in the building as usual. We're gonna have some fun today.
Dave Zenon, my
Dave
man.
Dave Zenon, is it? Can I call him a trainer aficionado? Is that fair? Can I say that? Is that okay?
Nothing wrong with that. So it sounds a little bit more sophisticated. We good?
Yeah, we have David Zenon, basketball trainer aficionado, with us today to talk about the playoffs.
That's right. Got a bunch of game ones this week, a couple upsets. So, Dave, right out the gate, let's start with the Eastern Conference. So we got Philly up 1-0, Atlanta up 1-0, Brooklyn up, and Milwaukee is up 1-0. Which one are you surprised the most about so far?
None of them. But
good answer.
But real talk, I've found that the Miami Heat are a bad matchup for Milwaukee. I would have flipped it around. I thought Miami was going to win that first game, but everybody else, and the Knicks, I thought game one they were going to come out, with the energy in the second half, kind of take over with that. But because let's be honest, man, that crowd last night was crazy. So the energy is nice. You got a lot of nerves. There were nerves on both sides. You could see it. Like there's a lot of young dudes on both teams, respectively. But Philadelphia is too much for Washington. Although, Russ is doing his thing and whatnot. But yeah, man, I think everything's kind of been playing to how everything's supposed to.
Go ahead, Denny.
Look, man. Where do I want to start off? All right, let's start with Philly, right? Mm-hmm. So we got Philly. It's Philly. It's a mismatch in my opinion. Obviously, I don't know how many games. It's Philly. Remind me, who is it again? Philly and I don't even
Washington.
Washington, exactly. I don't even think the team is. It's going to be a sweep. A nice heavy duty Home Depot broom. Then we move on to New York. Let me move on to New York real quick. They have to stop Trae Young. They're going to have to put what we call an elbow into him. And let's be clear. I'm not advocating, Denny Blanco's not advocating violence. I'm not advocating you hurt Trae Young. What I'm advocating is the first flotation move into the paint, dribble penetration. You get Noel or you get Randall to knock him on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Clean foul. Just one time. This is the playoffs. This is the NBA playoffs. It's supposed to get more physical. It's supposed to be less whistles. It's supposed to be you get what you eat. Eat what you get. You eat what you get. You get what you eat. You're supposed to be attacking people, and they're supposed to be attacking you. That's what the playoffs is all about. Like you see that Bucks Miami game?
Yeah.
They were wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They were wrestling. Bam was wrestling with these folks. Okay? I mean, it just seemed to me Middleton had to fight to get that shot off.
Yeah.
He had to fight two people to get that shot off and literally had to fade away to hit that shot. That's playoff basketball.
And to Dave's point is like, if Milwaukee's going to win this series, which I think they will, they're going to have to fight and scrap every single game. But like Dave said, it's a bad matchup for Milwaukee. Like
talking about Miami playing Milwaukee,
right? Milwaukee can do everything perfect. It's a new lineup. They got Drew Holiday and not Bledsoe from last year, and everything. And it's like, I'm back with Miami. I get overtime. Jimmy Butler with the big shot at the end. It's like, no matter what, man, that series can go 7. And Milwaukee, who might be a little better, is still gonna have to fight and scrap all those games against Miami.
I think Miami, David. I think Miami. Excuse me, Dave. I think Miami. They fight to score. Do you see that they have a problem scoring? Am I off, Dave?
No, I don't think so. You know, the acquisition of Oladipo was supposed to be big for them,
right?
To help have that third option. And unfortunately, you know, due to his injury, he's out for the rest of the year. But Miami, they're scrappy. They're literally scrappy on both ends of the ball. Like defensively, they get after it, and then offensively, it's a struggle. You know, there's so many times where Bam is able to operate from the pinch post, and him being a big that could pass and also handle the rock. That hezzy move he has is nasty. Now the problem is it doesn't work too well if you can't space the floor. So you know you're going to need Hero, you're going to need Robinson, who, by the way, Duncan Robinson is going to get paid.
Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
That boy is a problem.
Mm-hmm. So he's able to help facilitate the offense without the ball in his hand, just based off of his ability to shoot and spread the floor. But if they can't hit those shots, and as I said, you know, Milwaukee's long as well, and defensively they're not as aggressive as Miami is, but you know the length is an issue. Either way you cut it. So
yeah, that was my call. Even the length, the height, the height, and also for me it was I picked Milwaukee to go to the finals, the Eastern Conference, and Jrue Holiday. He is the X factor. He is the guy that defensively is not going to fail you, and offensively he will give you something. So that is going to be interesting to watch down the line.
Yeah, he's the best on-ball defender in the league, in my opinion.
Ooh, talk to me. I was going to say Ben Simmons, but talk to me.
Drew.
I like it.
I mean, Ben is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Ben is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. He gets away with some fouls sometimes.
Absolutely, all the time.
But Drew has such a good base and understands, like, I mean, when I tell you there's a dude, I haven't seen a guy like that could play the passing lane, but then like recover to just get on his man in a very long time.
You know, like, Dave, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, you know what? Because we were talking about Defensive Player of the Year, and I was mentioning Draymond, and I was mentioning Ben Simmons. You know what? See, and this is why I love having conversations with different aficionados, guys who know the game, because they're going to bring up things that I didn't even think about. I didn't even think about Jrue because now that I'm sitting back and thinking about the games that he's played and who I've seen, he's defended LeBron James. He's defended Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about not defend them where it's a switch. I'm talking about straight up defense for multiple possessions.
Yep. And Ben Simmons is probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, Philly's in first place, and they just, you know, they're rolling. They're a machine right now. But at the end of the day, though, too, man, Drew going from New Orleans to Milwaukee, I think the narrative would have been completely different if he started in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And the way that their rotations are way different than what New Orleans did. So, you know, you got to take that into consideration. And now that the playoffs, you know, the more, you know, you go into the playoffs, or the deeper, I should say, you know, the game slows down. So that's going to be something where I want to watch how he's going to take the team's best offensive player from now on in the remaining series.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Well, it's for me, I think still the X factor is the coaching. Coach Spo, to me, is a better coach than Budenholzer. Mm-hmm. So we saw what happened last year. We thought Milwaukee was going to win that series, and look what happened. Miami beat them.
They didn't have Jrue Holiday.
They got Jrue Holiday, and they had to win in overtime. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
one game.
I know it's one game, but that could be every game now. What if Miami wins game 2 and it's a 2, 3, 4 point game? It's like, once Giannis gets that jump shot to be consistent, then it's game over for everybody.
Wait, true or false? If true or false, if they didn't foul Giannis, I think they implemented a hack of Giannis, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were fouling him. I think he missed a bunch of free throws, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been iffy on the line.
Yeah. So listen, Coach Bud, like, yo, listen. Towards the end of the game, keep the ball in Middleton's hands. Let them foul him. Do not get the ball to Giannis. Please. Please, baby Jesus, do not.
So what? We got Miami, Milwaukee game 2 tonight, right?
Yep.
Oh, who you got?
Milwaukee.
Oh, Dave?
I have Miami tonight.
I would say Miami.
You really, really love you some Spoelstra, baby. Good luck.
I do. I like
yeah, Butler. Yo, I love me some Jimmy B. I love me some Jimmy B. But I don't think he has the third. There's no Oladipo. It's going to be tough.
As long as they don't wear those yellow uniforms, I'm good.
Because go back to black. Let's go back to black.
Yeah, they got to go back to black and red. Yeah.
All right. So we covered Milwaukee. We touched on Philly a little bit. I didn't see that game. I was outside, so I know they won. I think that might be a sweep. I don't think they get one game against Philly.
No.
So, Dave, you want to go to Atlanta, New York? You want to go to Brooklyn, Boston?
Well, Brooklyn, Boston was actually pretty interesting. But, I mean, everybody and their mom is talking about that game last night, man. That's Brooklyn and Boston is going to be a close series, but it'll end up being like a gentleman's sweep, in my opinion.
Oh, you're giving them one.
It might
That's
not.
What I said. I said 5.
It might be 5. And what I'm thinking is going to happen is it's going to be a flat out sweep. But there's just so much that needs to go Boston's way in order to beat Brooklyn. Period. Like they came out and were shooting all these threes. Everybody's hitting the threes. They're getting ahead, and meanwhile Brooklyn's only down by 9. Then they're down by 12. Then it gets back to like they go on a 16-0 run. Just like that. And it wasn't even like, it's crazy. You can go on runs and you can chip away at leads, but Brooklyn had a loud 16-0 run.
Very loud.
Very loud.
Very loud.
Explosive.
Yes. So that's
what people are betting on. That's what people are betting on. They're betting on, and that's what I told Randy last we got together. I was talking to somebody else, and he's like, the Nets don't play no defense. I said, I'm not worried about defense. What I'm worried about is someone telling me they can, if we have 3 guys that can score 40, that's 120 points.
And what, Dave? You were there, right? Dave, you were there?
Yeah, that fourth quarter, they strapped up. You know what? I think they were cruising during the regular season.
You damn right they were cruising.
Of course.
No. There's a difference because there's some games where you could see like I want to play because the big 3 really didn't get to play that much together, and barring injury or whatever the occurrence is, health safety protocols. But even when they did, like if you look at how all of a sudden there was like that switch where it was like, nah, we're done playing with y'all.
Let's get you out of here.
So let me ask you this. Unless I'm wrong, the 0-1 Lakers still have the record for the least amount of losses in the playoff.
Like 15-1.
They went 15-1. Obviously, there was only 5 games in the first round, but they lost 1 game, I think.
Yeah, game 1 of the finals.
So
against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Against the Sixers, yep.
Can this Brooklyn Net team survive through the playoffs, win the whole thing, for example, and only get 1 loss? Like who's supposed to? Who's going to beat Brooklyn?
Milwaukee or Philly? 1 game.
Philly's a tough matchup for them.
That's a tough matchup for them.
That series is going to go 6 or 7 if they beat up.
Easy.
Love it.
Because it's hard to see. You're gonna have instances in which Philadelphia's bigs are gonna offset one of the big 3.
Well, Doc is stubborn. Doc is from the old school. Doc is stubborn.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be like, all right, Steve, you want to go small? All right. I tried this in LA, didn't work. I'm gonna try it here in Philly again. I'm gonna stick to my bigs and ride that. And the difference is Doc won't allow Embiid to shoot threes when he sees a little man on him. Doc will yell at him.
Even worse, I think you would have a high-low option, screen away, and then some down screen action with Ben Simmons. Have him post up because if you think about it, if there's enough opportunities for you to, swing, pass and then cut and then like a rescreen, Ben's going to post up one of those guards. And necessarily it might not be Harden or KD.
Kyrie for sure.
Kyrie, they're going to try to,
ISO him every time.
They're going to put under Kyrie or Brown or, you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see. And then also you got to take into account how much trust are they going to put into TLC guarding Tobias Harris at one point or another. Just keeping it a buck and calling it even. Those guys are going to negate each other. It's going to come down to how Ben Simmons is going to guard Kevin Durant, because that's just that's the guy you got to put on KD.
I love it. I love it.
That's the dude you got to put on KD.
I love it. Give me 48 minutes of that, please. I beg of you. Please. Need that.
So I think we're down to what I think was the best game one of the weekend, even though we lost. New York, Atlanta, 15,000 people in the Garden. It was rocking. First playoff game in 8 years. The young boys did not look nervous in the second half, or at least first half. Quickly was good. Obi, I killed Randall last night on the Twitter Spaces, and I'm thinking like, I know he will bounce back for game 2. I don't think he will play like that for the whole entire series.
No.
For me, for Knicks fans who hated the Trae Young, why is it quiet in here? See, I love all that, because it gives me a different playoff atmosphere feel. Like, all right, so down the line, Trae Young the Knicks and Atlanta might be this rivalry that, starts from last night going forward. So I like all the banter, the crowd going crazy, and Trae Young talk about it's quiet in here, and they get the dub and everything. So a great game, a classic game to start off game one. But Dave, what did the Knicks do wrong and do right? And the same thing for Atlanta. Why is Atlanta up 1-0?
New York missed a ton of open shots. They had great looks, just wasn't falling. And it happens. Julius didn't play great. Right. There was a lot of instances. There were plenty of instances in which they forced the ball into his hands and forced up a shot. Now, Atlanta, on the flip side, they just had the hot hand. Like, they were able to spread the floor and a lot of second chance opportunities. That's the thing that's really concerning to me if I'm a Knicks fan, is Capella and Collins are going to get you easily 8 to 9 offensive rebounds a game. Now, the flip side is 8 to 9 rebounds for them offensively doesn't mean just quick second chance points. They're going to kick that ball back out.
Right.
And when you have 3 legit shooters like on the
Bogdan and
Gallinari, Herder,
Trae Young.
But I'm talking about like guys that are strictly catch and shoot. Trey's going to boogie with the ball.
Herder just sit there and Gallinari sit there. You keep throw to him, it's rap.
Hunter's coming into his own too on the offensive end. And then what really the X factor to me now, I don't want to see Cam Reddish come back for game 3. I don't. That
really?
Oh boy.
Really? Well, you know what, Dave? You had a couple of points. Spoke about it last night on Spaces. Listen, let's start with Randall. Randall, I think, deserves grace for one night off. He tried. He brought him to the dance. All right, give him some grace. He had an off night. I give him that. All right, let's move him aside. When it comes to the offense, I saw a lot of overpassing. Where there were literally shots that could have been taken, but it was an extra pass for no reason, just to find a better shot when it was already a good shot there. Yeah. That's another thing I saw offensively. Quickly, Obi, Quickly and Obi and Alec weren't scared at all, ready to go.
And now, RJ too.
RJ Barrett. Now, mind you, I was the one mentioned last night. If Tom Thibodeau wants to, if Tom Thibodeau's listening, which he should be, if he really wants to make a move, he should literally go with this starting lineup: D Rose, Alec Burke, RJ Barrett, Randall, and then if Noel, whoever center you want to put there, start at the 5. You put Alec Burke on Trey the whole game. You need a bigger body on Trey.
I agree. The thing that I'm worried about with that is he gets so many foul calls that Alec Burke is a rhythm. Alec Burke is a rhythm scorer. He's the perfect. I tweeted about this pump fake 1 dribble pull up. He had 2 of those on the baseline.
Joe Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fundamentals all day with that dude. Catch and shoot. He's able to show the ball in several different instances where, if he doesn't have that quick 1-2, he gets rid of it. Like, he's not gonna go too crazy. And if Trae Young gets him in foul trouble, then I'm looking at, okay, besides D Rose, who is a godsend, what other dude are we gonna have that's gonna really score from the perimeter that's looking to play defense straight up?
All right, having stated that, I got new data. My new strategy would be, because it's chess, not checkers, okay? He makes a he makes a very, very good point. I don't want to get Alec in foul trouble because I need him to score. So we need to bring somebody on to just strictly rough up Trae Young, maybe Ntilikina, I don't know. But you're taking away offense for defense, and that's my concern. If the Knicks want to get out this round, they're going to have to either want to do one of these 2 things: out rebound Atlanta or stop Trae Young from averaging 30. They're going to have to do one of those 2 things. Now, which one's easier?
Well, I think it depends on how the refs officiate Trae Young, because he'd be flopping, he doing all that. I mean, he gets the calls. But at some point in time, is the referee going to be like, listen, man, that wasn't really a foul? I think they fouled them yesterday, and when they did the whole challenge thing, like, bro, I think from a Knicks standpoint, how do the referees officiate Trae Young? And from a Atlanta standpoint, how many times can I get Julius Randle to have a bad game? Which I don't think is going to be many. I think game 2 is different. So, and I see Knicks fans complaining about Trae Young getting every foul call and this and that. I'm like,
I would say every call.
He got majority of the calls. At certain points of the game, I'm like, oh, you can't call that right now. Come on, man. It's a tight game, 2-point game. Like,
now, mind you, again, I keep telling you guys, you rough a guard up, and this is from experience. This is from experience. You rough a short guard, 5'3", 5. He's not 5'3". We know he's about 5'10", maybe 5'9". You rough up a guard early in the game, it affects how they move when they go to the paint, especially guys who want to do floaters.
Right.
There was only one foul that I saw from Taj Gibson where it was actually like Trae did a floater and floated into Taj, and they called it and 1.
Yeah.
I said, in my head, I'm like, Taj, you already committed. Fall on him. Fall on him. You already commit. You're already in the air. You're already leaning. Fall on him and not hurt him, but let him know that every time he comes into the paint, it's going to be a problem. He has to look over his shoulder. Obviously, that may have been also to with Noel. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, I would kind of, it sounds crazy, but I might do the opposite. I'll let Trae get
50.
Go ahead.
Stop everybody else. Yeah, let's do that.
And I could play a shell. Even if you play a shell defense, or if you want to run guys off of the line, that's cool. But you're looking at like Gallinari, Bogdanovich, Collins. Those are the guys that are gonna, paper cut you to death. You know what I mean? Like Trae got his floaters going on. I get it. And at the end of the day, like, you don't want – I would give up the floaters. I would give up the open jumpers. I don't want to give up fouls to stop the clock, stop momentum, and let him get a rhythm at the free throw line. Like,
you have to – pick your poison.
Pick your poison. But then also he's a tremendous passer. So I'm going to stay home on all the other shooters. I'll let you put up whatever floaters you need. But that, man, there can't be any drop defense with the bigs on the Knicks. Like they could hedge and go.
Mm-hmm.
And Capella's not going to be a threat from the perimeter. You know, pick and roll to the, you know, some lobs to some dunks here and there. I get it, but he's not the type of guy that's going to be like, I'm going to consistently be worried about you hitting a mid-range jumper to help spread the floor. So Trey, go ahead, get 50, get 60 for all I care. But the shooters that are, and if you look at Atlanta's offense, they go high pick and roll with Collins when they're gonna have a shooter get a back screen on the baseline. And then when Clint Capella comes up and sets a screen, shooters stay in the slot, wing, and corner. There's no movement on the opposite side because you know that they're going to allow Capella to just dive downhill. So I can't say they're going to be consistent actions like that all the time, but I picked up a lot of habits from those two. And the second that guy sets a screen on the right-hand side of the floor, I know he's looking to make that pass for the shooters. I mean, he hit Huerter and Bogdanovic in the corner on both occasions where the high screen came up.
Yep.
And one guy flared, one guy lifted.
Yep. And then that's another thing too. You're talking also 12 assists. See, 32 and 12. See, if you had 32 and 1 assist, 2 assists, that's one thing.
Yeah.
You gotta slow him. You gotta slow him up, bro. You gotta slow him up.
And plus, it's that pick and roll with the lob to Capella. So it's like, or Collins. Like it's like Trey can beat you with the shot, penetration, lobs,
tough,
find an open guy. Like
he's an all-star for a damn reason.
You can't double him. So
he's an all-star for a damn reason.
I think no matter what, it's gonna be a long series. I think the Knicks win game 2 on Wednesday. Because obviously if they lose, then it's it's a tough holding. Danger zone. I do want to get to the West real quick.
Let's do it.
So tonight we have game 2 of Portland, Denver. So let's start with that. So Dennis will say, the question was, what potential upsets do you see in the first round? I said possible 2 in the West. Everybody will pick the Lakers and Phoenix. I'm not going there yet.
A little easy.
I say Dallas can upset the Clippers, and I said Portland can beat Denver. And so that's what happened. Portland did beat Denver. Now, can they win game 2? We don't know. But what did you make of seeing from game 1, Portland beating Denver, Dave?
They missed Jamal Murray big time, man.
Yes.
That's as much as I love Jokic and he's gonna win the MVP. Man, Gordon.
Michael Porter's not doing enough Michael Porter Jr. is not doing enough to subside Jamal Murray being out.
You're in half court sets now, so you can't. Porter and Gordon they might negate each other the way that Denver's offense is set up, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how often Porter's going to get away with the style of play he put up. The way he played in game 1 was similar to what we were like, okay, Julius isn't going to have another bad game. Porter's not going to have another bad game.
1 for 10 from 3?
Yeah, that's not happening again. But then those 10 threes, let's say he makes
5.
He makes 5 of them, right? That might take away, in the rhythm of the game, that might take away shots from Gordon or somebody else that they're looking for to help spread the floor some more. And rebounding, man. I'm not that impressed with how they rebound the ball, and transition defense was rough. But transition defense is going to be hard. Transition defense is going to be hard to play against Portland anyway when you have a guy like Dame that keeps everybody on their toes the second he crosses half court. And then we got to bring up that bad man, that dude.
Who?
Carmelo Anthony, bro.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Who? Carmelo Anthony. You heard me.
Wait. That's right.
What? No, because last we spoke, I think Carmelo was supposed to be playing in China.
That's what the numbers dude said. That's what those guys
just checking.
Depends who you at.
Just checking. 18 points off the bench, though, right? 18? Was it 18 light?
Light.
18 light? Just checking. You know what I mean? Because we don't know anything over here. Or it's in the game. You know what I mean? With Randy Cruz and Denny Blanco and Dave. We don't know nothing here.
And I know that had to feel good for Carmelo because, like, listen, the him going to New York and going to different places, and they still that was 10 years ago. They probably still feel salty, and they were booing him. Game one, I'm like, he is probably your best player you ever had in that franchise. So it's like, chill out. And then him getting 18 points and knocking down a couple big threes, like, I think that kind of felt good for him to come back and just do that.
Everything was in rhythm for him that night.
Yeah.
There was nothing forced. Rhythm, just smooth shots, was able to open up everything else for Dame and everybody else to operate from. Nurkic, I'm sure he felt good too coming back to Denver. He was a Denver Nugget at one point, so that's a tough matchup for them, man. Because you're also looking at dudes that are gonna guard Jokic chest to chest. Like, it's not like
no doubles needed. No doubles needed. Straight up. That's a very good point.
They're not gonna sag off with that. So that's tough. And then at the end of the day, when things get really tight, you can hand the ball to either Dame or Melo, because those dudes neither one of them are afraid to take that shot.
Or CJ. Shout out to my man CJ, the fundamental assassin, CJ McCullough. Boy, it's so fundamental. I'm bored. Jab steps through the legs, step backs. I'm like, I'm looking at his footwork. I'm like, damn, his footwork is impeccable.
Impeccable. Norm Powell's going to be the X factor for them. Just like,
there you go.
Yeah.
The way he served the Raptors is going to be the same way he's going to serve Portland. You're going to get CJ and Dame doing everything they got in the perimeter, and then all of a sudden that slasher, Norm gets you with 2 points here, 4 points there. Then all of a sudden you're walking into the fourth quarter. Norm got 16, but it's all 16 that might have killed a run or started a run.
Right.
Are you confident that you confident Portland could beat Denver?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Okay. In a series? Okay. Well, with Dallas,
Luka.
Boys with 21-22, dropping triple doubles in the playoffs.
Bad.
The one question I got, Dave, you got to tell me, what is it with Porzingis? I know me and you were fans of KP when he was in New York. He goes to Dallas. It was supposed to be this Nash and Dirk 2.0 down there, and it's like Luka is like he's doing everything, and KP is, I just don't know what it is. Is he slow? It's, I don't know, precaution of a possible injury. Like, I just don't know what it is. Are we seeing the same thing with KP?
I don't know, man. I root for KP, man. That's my guy. You know what I mean? From a personal standpoint, that's my boy. So I'm always in his corner. I root for him heavy. I don't know what's up with him. I haven't spoken to him or anybody in his camp in a while, to be honest with you. So, who knows? It just could be everybody's banged up at some point, but he's been dealing with injuries and issues with like little nicks and knacks here and there. So it's hard to just get into a rhythm like that, man. Like, not even just in a game, but just like in general. Like, it's difficult. But when you also have, they have pretty good firepower. Timmy's been playing well. And of course Luka's doing Luka things. So when
31, 11, and 10. 31, 11, and 10. KP 14 and 4 on the block in 35 minutes.
Unacceptable for a 7-footer. There were possessions where Kawhi Leonard was guarding him, and he could not post up Kawhi Leonard.
Well, in all fairness, and I'm gonna tell you, I know this from personal experience too. Kawhi is arguably top 3 strongest dudes in the league.
I'm not saying he weak. Oh, no. I'm not saying Kawhi weak by no stretch. Shout out to you, Kawhi. No, New Balance, baby. But I'm not saying he weak. What I'm saying is, as a 7-footer with your leverage, maybe your leverage isn't, low center of gravity is not there. I understand. But there were multiple possessions where I was just like, he caught it maybe two 2 extra steps where he wanted to catch it.
Mm.
And then when he did, he could not move Kawhi. He couldn't post him. He couldn't turn on him.
Most can't.
True. And when he turned and shot over him, he didn't feel comfortable. So I was just like, wow, that's gonna be a problem. If you know they got lucky with winning this game. It's gonna be a problem down the line.
Yeah, Kawhi. If Kawhi's healthy,
which he looks like he is,
and he looks good. If Kawhi is healthy in any situation, that dude is going to be an issue for everybody in the league defensively. Like, and it's not just hyperbole. I'm talking
no.
I've seen this dude firsthand. Like, obviously, when he spent his time with the Raptors and Surge, just his physical makeup his body's incredible.
No, he's a specimen.
He's a specimen.
Like an action figure.
He's a specimen. But that's what I would I would watch him defend your LeBrons, your Currys, your Kevin Durant, your James Harden. I would sit and pay and watch him defend them for 48 minutes because it's art to me, not only offensively but defensively. Stopping someone that's unstoppable is great to me. Period.
Yeah, I would. I think Dallas is gonna find ways to have KP. KP's gonna end up being more of the pick and pop guy.
He's gonna have to.
Kleber is gonna be the dude that is gonna dive to the rim.
Yeah.
Kind of establish that low post presence. KP's gonna do more stuff in mid range too, if he is gonna post up. But he was able to do some stuff against Morris, and it wasn't as if it looked too difficult.
But 14 for him. And then maybe I have my bar too high for him. I expect him for 36 minutes. I expect you to give me 20-something. 20-something, at least 10 boards at his 7-footer. That's what maybe, and then maybe I'm expecting too much.
So who we got game 2? Dallas or Clippers?
Dallas.
Wow, you're going 2-zip. Wow.
Yeah, I've seen enough from Baby Bird. I've seen enough from Baby Bird, baby. Unless they want to put Kawhi on him 48 minutes.
I got it 1-1.
Okay.
I got the Clippers coming back, and I would love to see them not put up as many threes, and let's get Surge a little bit more established how they're doing with that on the offensive end. I know. But he's coming back from the back injury but he looks good. He looked good defensively. Had a couple good blocks on Luka and some other dudes. So I think he's going to be an X factor for that series, man.
Don't get it twisted. I understand why folks don't post because they don't get calls down there. I get it. But when you're a 7-footer and you have the advantage, the advantage is for you to post. You feel me?
So I got 3 more. So Memphis, they beat San Antonio, they beat the Warriors, and then they knock off Utah game 1. And I know Mitchell did not play. Let's say he's not at 100%, even though he said he is. How worried should Utah be about this Grizzlies team?
They should be worried because they're on a run.
Very
They're on a run. They believe at the right time.
And they have Jaren Jackson
healthy,
figuring out how to play with this. See, he came back from injury during the season pretty late.
Right.
And Ja is a different animal than what he was last year.
Facts.
Now he's figuring out how to play with this version of Ja. And then you also have Tyus Jones, who's turned into a dude who is going to steady the offense, plays great defense. Yeah. Shout out to Kyle Anderson, slow-mo.
Yeah, I think he's the guy that keeps everything together.
Slow-mo YMCA, that's what I call him.
Dude.
Yeah.
And he made life miserable for Derek Favors and a few other guys. Like, that's smart dude. And let's not forget, he was a point guard too.
Facts.
So he's able to break presses. He's able to pass out of double teams. He's able to, and he's shown that he can hit an open three now. That's a bad little recipe for them.
Right.
And of course, let's not forget, Dylan Brooks is going to be that pest. Defensively, averaging 17 points per game too. That's a really good two-way player for them. So they have a squad, man. Like
Dylan is Jimmy Buckets 2.0. He's going to give you scoring, and he's going to commit to playing defense. Regardless of what you do, he's going to that's that Oregon Ducks play. That's the Oregon Ducks play. But he's from the Ducks, right? He was from the Ducks, right, Dylan?
Yeah, he was an Oregon kid.
Yeah,
Oregon Ducks. The Ducks play, baby.
I got two more before Denny goes. I'm gotta run. So real quick, does Utah get game 2 if Mitchell plays?
No.
Wow, Memphis up 2-0.
There's a lot. There's a lot more going on in the post. And they really are punking dudes.
Wow.
It's not just. I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'm saying
no. Ball wise.
What you see is what you get. They're like Memphis is like, hey, we're not supposed to be here, but we're supposed to be here. If that makes sense.
Right.
Facts.
So I see where we're coming from, and like everybody on that team is scrappy. That's the other thing. Like I forgot Grayson Allen too. He played some pretty good minutes. That whole team is just a bunch of dudes that are just like.
Well, you could call them Toronto. I think you call them Toronto 2.0. What I mean by that is players that were told they weren't going to be anything. Maybe there's a couple of players are journeymen, maybe a couple of players are rookies, and they're they got people in front. They have people that got drafted in front of them. Was like, these guys are better than you, so these guys want to prove something.
They all can.
So Dave, who you got game 2? Memphis?
I'm leaning towards Memphis. I'm just wondering how. I'm just wondering how Donovan is going to adjust to the conditioning aspect of it, and then the physicality part. Like they might be a few instances in which they just have Grayson in there just to be a pest.
Thank you.
And then Grayson's going to hit that occasional open three.
Yep.
But then if you want to switch and have a guy like Dylan Brooks who's legit, and people don't realize this too, Dylan Brooks is legit 6'6".
Solid.
Mm-hmm. He's got a thick body. He's tall, and got pretty good length to him.
Right.
But his IQ is what's going to make the difference. So I think he's going to have like one of those impact. He's going to have an impact on the game that's like, I'm not going to shut down Donovan completely.
Yeah.
Bother him.
But Donovan's going to be bothered enough to see different things thrown his way. And he's going to get his. Donovan's nice.
You're talking about coming off of ankle injury. He said he's 100%. We're going to see in the first 5 minutes if he is or not.
Exactly.
If he's taking off and dunking on people, we'll know he's 100%. Shout out to Chris Paul.
I wholeheartedly believe him that he is, and he's going to get his.
Shout out to Chris Paul, the old boy, damn near stinger in the neck.
Word.
Caught a stinger in the neck on a rebound
and almost broke LeBron's arm.
It paralyzed his whole right arm, and still played.
So two more. Dave, game 2, Lakers, Phoenix. Lakers, should they be worried?
Yeah.
They're going down 0-2, bro.
Wow.
Big worried.
They're going down 0-2, bro.
Hey, it is what it is, right?
That boy they call Devin Booker.
And you mentioned Booker. This is the final question, and this is probably the most important question I ask. We're seeing Devin Booker. We're seeing Luka, the Trays, the Ja Morants. Changing of the guard here, nowadays with the NBA. Like, I know I'm a fan of it, but how good we know Dame is out there, Giannis and those guys, but how good does it feel to see like now, and Curry's still out there, but see like these 4 guards are like now they're like the next ones coming up, and they're doing work now in the playoffs.
I'm happy to see it. I don't think that Devin Booker's been so overlooked for the last 2 years
because of the losing. Mm-hmm.
Because of the losing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really watch hoop, and you could just see how he was operating when he dropped, when he had that 70-point game against Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew he was good, but I was like, yeah.
Oh, you was like, oh.
In like 2 years, this dude might legit be like top 2 shooting guard in the league type.
Yep.
Type of player. And
no, he's right there.
And having Chris Paul next to him, who's gonna, knows all the tricks of the trade and defensively is gonna help him too. He's
who they got on the Lakers to slow that man down? Dennis? Man.
Schroeder? No.
Dennis? Who? What? Caruso?
No.
Who?
But
I
think just seeing Ja and his progression. You took out Greg Pop, you took out Steph Curry. I know they were undermanned, but still, you got the job done. You might take out Utah. Seeing what Devin Booker has become, multiple-time All-Star, Luka just damn near top 5 of the league. Trae Young right behind them. And I know there are still people who feel like Atlanta should have kept Luka, but look, I think both made out perfectly well.
Yeah, they're fine.
They got both great point guards that's going to do well for the franchise. The NBA is in good hands. So I like this new changing of the guard. I'm not throwing anybody else out, but I like this new wave coming up.
New wave is legit.
Talented. Yeah.
But and also too, you realize something too. Also, these players. What do all these players have in common? Let me make sure we understand correctly what I'm referring to. Devin Booker, Luka, Ja Morant. Who else did we mention? Those 3, right? Trae. There's something very interesting that they all have in common. And what is that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls?
Killer instinct.
That and fundamentals. Fundamentals. The fundamentals that these boys have: footwork, step backs, turnarounds, how to create space. These guys are professional scorers, and it's great to see the if you look, when I mentioned earlier in terms of CJ McCullough, the attention to detail that these guys have when they make a move. You could see it and how they create space, how they jump into a defender to actually get the shot off. It's beautiful to watch. That's why I'm loving it, because they're showing the other kids that are coming up. Yes, if you want to be a great player, it's not so much as athleticism. You have to get your ass in the gym and mess with Dave Zenon. He gonna get you in the league, baby. He gonna get you in the league, baby. Call Dave Zenon, baby. We're going to the league, baby.
Exactly. Well, on that note, Denny Blanco, you can find him on both IG and Twitter at I am Denny Blanco. You can find Dave Zenon on Twitter at Dave Zenon. IG is
David Mark Zenon.
David Mark Zenon. You can find me on both IG and Twitter at Randy J. Cruz, RENDY, letter J, CRUZ. Also at Ball Is Life. Find the audio on ballslife.com. Find the video on youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Enjoy game 2 tonight, fellas. We are out.
Won yourself.
Yeah, brother.